What's up, y'all? This Isaiah B. Salute to you guys, man. I'm gonna get right into it. Always be kind to others. Always be kind to others. And why do I say this? I say this because you never know what someone's going through. You never know what someone has went through. There's so many different catalysts and aspects to life that one has to master and has to have, in place. If not, that person can succumb to harm and danger, particularly if something happened to a person when they were a child in their most vulnerable stages. Man, you're talking about a very pivotal time. There's so many people who have been abused, molested, neglected. The list goes on in their youth. And that has dramatically changed the way they think, changed the way they interact, changed the way that they love, And that's real. And that's me just talking from a mental health standpoint, I'm not talking about financial, how that person now spends their money. I'm not talking about in a social sense where, that person now interacts with a certain other group. No, I'm just talking about the psychology of the person, like just their own mindset now. It's dramatically changed and it's dramatically affected by what happened, And when you first meet somebody, you're not thinking about this, You're not thinking about it at all. You're just thinking, oh, this person's just an asshole. Or no, this person's just a bad person, And you'll probably attribute it to their race or their gender or just some type of appearance that they have just off of first glance. But like I said, you don't really know the backstory. You don't know why they are the way they are, It's, man, and just be honest with you, there's some chicks I dealt with who have been touched when they were younger, man. They've been touched inappropriately, as children. So with that being said, did it affect our relationship? Yes. Yes, it did. Because now I'm having to fight through a wall and jump through hoops to prove that I'm not like the person who committed that act. I'm having to prove myself when I should just be myself. You understand what I'm saying? So now I'm behind the goalpost as opposed to just being me, focusing on the goal. And the sad part is people like that, man, they often don't have a happy ending because they're just so disrupted. They're just so, cautious that they can't put themselves out in a vulnerable state again, And I don't want to make it seem like that person's life is now hopeless, but, there's issues, there's challenges that the person will have to deal with first. And at first, to deal with that, you have to face those demons, You have to face it. You got me? So definitely be kind to people, man. Definitely try to see things from their perspective, see where they're coming from. Because oftentimes with people, most people just do stuff out of convenience. It's not to be rude or ignorant to other people, even though there are people who are like that. But the average person is more so just, trying to do things for convenience. So maybe somebody parked somewhere you didn't want them to park, or says something you didn't want them to say, that could be a misunderstanding. That could be a loss in communication kind of thing, It's not always malicious. It's not always intentional, when someone does something, And being kind can be something that could be, internal too. Because how many of us often speak to ourselves, And you're not only speaking to yourself, but you're also speaking to yourself in a negative light. You know, maybe you're like, damn, I always do this, or I should have did this, I could have did that. You know, listen to yourself when you have those self-talks, and try to remember that you should take care of yourself too, you know, emotionally. You know, take care of yourself the way you would want to be treated, you know, the way you would want to be taken care of, you see. A lot of people are so selfless that they treat others better than they treat themselves. And in order to be there for someone else, you have to take care of yourself. You have to make sure that when it comes to the things that you need in order to function properly, in a healthy sense, of course, then you need to have those things in place. If not, you can't be there for anyone else, and you damn sure can't be there for yourself. And so being kind is complimenting others, being compassionate, understanding, being generous, being genuine, caring, extending yourself slightly, you know, to a certain extent. That can be labeled as kindness, sharing, you know, not holding grudges, you know, shit happens, you know, people aren't always going to see eye to eye with you. There are going to be times where people often think a certain way, just like you think a certain way. And when you two interact, that communication is going to get lost, like I mentioned earlier. And it's going to lead to certain things, whether it's something good or bad. Typically bad, though. And with that being said, if you're able to communicate what you mean, your intention behind what you said, and the other person does the same thing, then you guys should come to a mutual understanding. Even if it's you guys are no longer going to be communicating, nothing's wrong with that, you know. But long as you two had that conversation, or you at least attempted to do that, then you did all you can do. You know, you extended yourself to a certain extent. You provided your kindness. You attempted to be compassionate. And if that person didn't follow suit, it didn't follow suit. It happens. But you did your part. You know. And being kind is something, man, that often is forgotten about. You know. Because in this Western perspective, we're always taught to just provide, to just perform. You know, it's also exhausting, really. But also so robotic, you know. There's no feelings involved. There's no care anymore. Everything is just give me, and take. But nothing really, you know, comes out of that. You know, that's substantial. I mean, even if it's money, it's a business, that's cool. That's great. But emotions and feelings are the things that make us human. Because if not, robots could just take care of it, you know? Like, imagine right now if your mailman, you know, UPS, FedEx, Amazon, whoever won, doesn't matter. But imagine if those people were replaced with robots, you know? So you having to get your mail from a robot who just drops the package off and leaves. Don't say, hey, how you doing? Don't smile. Don't ask you, you know, which mailbox it goes in. It just automatically just does the job for you. You'll probably think, you know, oh, that's good. I'll get my mail fast and everything. But a part of you, the human side of you, will begin to question and wonder if this was a good idea, you know. Because as human beings, we long for social belonging. You know, we long for love and happiness. And those feelings only come from humans, you know. It only comes from the people who you love and that you want to understand. You know, even if we don't say it to each other, it's still reflected in our behaviors. You know, it's still reflected in our habits. You know, and that's something technology cannot provide. You know, so kindness is no different, you know, than love and belonging and friendship, family. Kindness extends across the board. You know, it's all intertwined. You know. But that's it, man. That's all I wanted to get into today. Always be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. Continue to be generous. Continue to be a human being. That's it. Peace.